Sports FIFA 23.
When I signed here in 2017 and everyone's saying, oh my gosh, they paid all that money for, a right back, I sat down and I thought, if I win one Premier League, I'll be over the moon. Fast forward now 6 years and I've won 5 in 6 years. From where I'm from, it's unheard of, it's unheard of.
So Kyle, what a week you've had, beating Real Madrid 4-0 to reach the Champions League final, winning the league without kicking a ball on Saturday, lifting the trophy then on Sunday, and now we're here having a chat as well. It's been a brilliant week for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week, but these weeks you have to, as we were just saying before, you have to take in, the special moments, and each title has been, different but unique, and I think they have their own special occasion in my heart.
It's incredible, isn't it, that you've had this journey. This season in itself has been a journey as well, to be fair. Has this been a unique experience for you? Because Manchester City generally in the Premier League over the years have been the hunted, but you've been very much the hunters this year. What's that been like?
It's been different. It's been different. When we came back from the World Cup, we knew that we had to probably hit the ground running and do what we've done. But I think in that dressing room, the lads that we've got, the philosophy, the mindset that we've built over the last couple of years, we knew that we could do it. But we had important games to do, going even to the Emirates. And then Arsenal coming here, we knew they was the games that you needed to win, and you needed to go on a run that we have done to make sure that we could close that gap.
Was there ever a point where you doubted that you could do it, considering, was it an 8-point gap at most, maybe 11,
yeah,
with the way that the games were going?
No, I don't think you can doubt yourself. I think this group of players, of what we've achieved, we can't doubt ourselves, but we wouldn't have wanted the gap to get any bigger than what it got to, and I can assure you that. But listen, it's full credit to everyone, associated with this great club, that, it's not just us as players. We had a good meeting, and the owner said yesterday that, we're the engine, but behind the car, there's a lot of things that goes in behind the process for us to go out onto that pitch and, perform as we do, every 3 days now.
What do you think has been the catalyst for your form at the end of this season? Because you've been so brilliant, so consistent. I think back maybe to the Nottingham Forest game where Rodri, I think, spoke after that and said that the players, the senior players, which I know you're a part of, had a good chat about what was happening and what wasn't quite right. I remember the manager going on a bit of a rant, calling you happy flowers after the Spurs win at the Etihad Stadium. What do you think was the moment that really galvanised this push that you've had?
I don't know. You look back and, even when you just said there, the Spurs, and we're 2-0 down,
yeah,
in half-time. And you're looking around the change room and you're thinking, no, this is not going great, this. But I think Riyad was vital in that game. And like I said after the game against Real Madrid, we don't have any standout player. Okay, you've got Erling, you've got Kevin, you've got Jack, who I think has been fantastic this season, but each player I think has also chipped in, which I think makes this team extra special.
But where you're from, the background that you had, the upbringing that you had, to be sat here now, having achieved what you've achieved, with more on the cards over the next couple of weeks even, I mean, can you believe what's happened over these years? No,
listen, when I signed here in 2017 and everyone's saying, oh my gosh, they paid all that money for, a right back, it wasn't really known to do that, but
50 million's a lot for a right back, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Jesus, but I mean, in this day and age, probably not now. But
no.
But when you look back at it then and you think, okay, if I sat down and I thought, if I win one Premier League, I'll be over the moon. Fast forward now 6 years, and I've won 5 in 6 years. From, as I say, from where I'm from, it's unheard of. It's unheard of.
What was Sheffield like where you grew up?
When I look back now, I think it was tough. But it was just home. That was what I grew up knowing, just on the estate where I was from. And no, I wouldn't change it for the world. I think that the values in life that he's taught me, as you say, even like now when things do get tough, I tend not to shy. I tend to just take it, in my stride and And I think that was just the bedrock of where I've come from, and you had to, you know, sometimes dig your heels in and get through life. You know, I look back on it now and I think some of the things there, they're shocking. But at the time, it was just the estate. It was the estate that I grew up on, and, you know, even me and my mate, my best mate that I still speak to now, Scott, we used to play golf on the estate. But we used to play it to get to lampposts, so the flag was a lamppost. And, you know, you look at it now and you think, what was you actually doing? We'd smash windows, we'd run. As soon as you smashed the window, that way you'd be running.
That's the way to do it, yeah.
But that was, you know, we filled our time with whatever we could do, and normally it was football.
Yeah, to talk about that now, does that just seem like another life almost for you?
I think no, it doesn't, because it's part of my journey.
Yeah.
So, as I say, I'm so thankful for what my mum and dad did for me, how they brought me up and how they, you know, make sure that I wasn't hidden from anything. But my mum, you know, I remember my mum, bless her, she walked past someone on the stairs going up to our house. 2 minutes later, he's hung himself. But I'd never seen it because my mum kept me away from a lot of it. But, you know, sometimes it's a realisation, things like this happen in life, and for me to be sat here again, you know, saying that I've won 5 Premier Leagues, it's special, and it's a testament to my mum and dad as well. That
young lad in Sheffield growing up to then play for Sheffield United, I mean, even when you were first signed, do you remember how that felt?
Well, I never played Sunday League. I never played for a grassroots team.
Did you not?
Just straight from the estate to Sheffield United.
How did you get spotted then?
Playing a third game, so it was like the community would put on a kick out a racism thing.
Right.
And I was just training one day. And
must have been quite a training session.
No, we were just having a kick around.
Yeah.
We were just having a kick around, and a guy there called Paul Archer, he come and said, listen, I work for Sheffield United, and I was 7 at the time, so I had to wait another year to then get into the programme. But he said, we'd love to take you on, and that was it.
I think it was Jamie Carragher who said no one ever grows up to be a right back, and obviously you weren't growing up to be a right back at that point. Who decided that you should be one?
It was a coach, Sam Safe. Our right back at the time was injured. So he said, do I fancy playing? I wasn't playing, I couldn't get a game. The strikers that we had at Sheffield United was better than me.
Right.
I was small, not really coming to, you know, my frame or anything at the minute, and they deserved to play. So he was like, well, you know, we've got no right back at the minute. I think it's something that you can do, you're quick. The 1v1 defending, it's just like playing on the flats. Yeah, it's like
true,
playing on my estate, you know, it's you v your opponent. And you know, he said, I think that you'll fit in well there. So I said, come on, let's try it.
What are your fondest memories of playing for Sheffield United?
As much as it's a painful one, I got the chance to represent my hometown team at Wembley in a playoff final. We didn't get through against Burnley, but to play 4 games, I think, prior to that, to then end up at a playoff final for my hometown team. Yeah, I was nervous. I was so nervous in that moment, but that's my fondest. But, you know, maybe if life or that game wouldn't have gone that way, who knows where I'd have been. You
could always go back and win a playoff final for him, I'm sure.
Listen, it's something that I've been very open in saying that I do want to go back there, because as much as I played them 4 games in the playoff final and went back on loan for half a season until Tottenham recalled me, it's something that I feel that I need to give back more to that club. And listen, they might not want me. They might not want me, so
I think they might.
Yeah, but listen, I will go, and it's something where I definitely want to finish it where it started.
How did Tottenham come about?
Again, you tell me. I mean, there was me and Carl Norton, both at Sheffield United. And I remember my agent calling me and saying, listen, Tottenham are interested in you. I know Nort's had a few things with Everton, that he was going to go there when David Moyes was the manager, but they never showed interest in me. So I remember when I got the call from my agent, he was like, oh, I'm going to go down to Tottenham and speak to Harry. They was in Devon at a training ground, and I always remember Carl Norton saying to me, I think I'm going to go Everton. And I says, well, for me it's a no-brainer, because no one else has shown interest in me except Tottenham. So I'm going to go down there. And then next minute we were both down there together, and you know, that's just the way that you know, that transfer really went.
Did you speak to Harry Redknapp then before you signed?
Yeah.
You're smiling already.
Listen, I think Harry is a fantastic manager. But I don't actually think he knew I was.
Really?
Yeah, I don't actually think he knew I was. So I spoke with Alan Dixon, who's the player liaison officer guy down there, and I remember Alan telling me a story, and Harry's called Alan over and he's gone, "Who's that?" So me and Kyle Norton obviously stood together. So Alan's gone, "It's Kyle." He went, yeah, I know Kyle. "Who's the other one?" He went, "It's Kyle as well." He went, "We're signing 2 right backs.
Both called Kyle?
Both called Kyle, both from Sheffield United." He was like, "I think so, yeah." And that's just how it came about, that.
How long do you think it was until he learnt your name then? Did he know it straight away after that, or did it take a few training sessions?
Probably when he called me back. So I did well at Sheffield United when I went there on the season. I remember going on with the lads on the bus to Watford. Obviously, I'm going to be playing. The guy comes back, who it was Sam Ellis actually, came back into the back of the bus and went to me, "You can't play tomorrow, Kyle." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Tottenham have just called you back." And
That was how you found out?
Yeah, that's how I found out.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's not normal, is it?
I don't know. I don't know if it is normal.
I think so.
I don't know if it is normal, but they called me back, and I obviously was down in London then, so I just took the M25 to the Waltham Abbey Marriott, and I stayed there for 2 months. I remember saying to the gaffer then and Harry, and saying like, "Listen, am I going to be allowed?" Because then you could call someone back, but then let them go again.
Right. Okay.
So I was saying to him, like, "Is it okay if I go back to Sheffield United?" Because I wasn't playing at Tottenham, but they had a few injuries. They sent Kyle Norton to Middlesbrough, called me back from Sheffield United, and it was like, yeah, wait, give it a couple of weeks, let me just see how you are in training and everything, and then we'll see what we want to do with you.
Okay.
2 months later, I'm still in the Waltham Abbey Marriott because he's not made a decision.
You'd left reception by this point, I presume, yeah.
And I ended up staying, and I was fortunate to play my first home game there against Portsmouth, where I set up Luka Modric for a goal. And then next season I was back out on loan to QPR.
What was it like for you as a young lad from the north to go down to London at that point? I guess having the other Kyle with you helped, but us northern lads are used to our home comforts, aren't we?
I hated it. When I look back now, it was chaotic. It was chaotic down there because I was living in a hotel. I didn't like it, so any day off that I got, I was on the M1 back up to Sheffield. I think once I drove up to Sheffield straight from training, just to have some food with my mum, and then I drove back down that night.
Blimey.
But I just couldn't. I just couldn't adapt. I couldn't adapt, and I found it so hard at the start. But the best thing that happened to me was going to QPR, because then from there, I learned properly what it was like for men's football.
How much do you think those loan spells did help then? Not just QPR, but Villa as well. I guess every spell gives you a different experience and a different ability.
Well, you look at the QPR, and obviously I've gone there and we was winning. So I remember getting the call from my agent again and saying, "Okay, Aston Villa want to take you." And I said, "I'm not going." I said, "I'm not going." He's like, "But why?" It's Premier League football, obviously. You play Premier League football with Aston Villa, Tottenham then can't not play you, or we're going to have to, then all would leave.
Yeah.
So I said, "No, I don't want to go. Like, I'm fine. I just like living down. I actually like living down in London now. I didn't really want to move again. I was winning football. There was a great team. Me, Adele, Jamie Mackey, Fitz, all that I used to still speak to now. But I knew for me to have a contention to play at Tottenham, I had to go to Villa and make this step up. So I spoke to Gerard Houllier now, who's passed away. I spoke to him on the phone and I said, "I'm only coming there if I'm going to be playing." He's like, "Whenever I can play you, I'll play you, 100%. So I was like, "Okay, it makes sense." And from then I got my England call up as well.
Yeah, it was a great time for you, Villa, wasn't it? A successful time. And then I guess then stepping back to Tottenham, you must have just felt in a completely different place to play matches for the club.
Well, again, it came back to a point where Harry then couldn't say that he didn't trust me or I've not played Premier League football.
He'd learnt your name as well by this point,
yeah. By this time I think he knew I was as well, so that was a bonus as well. But for that season I went back obviously to Tottenham. I won the Young Player of the Year. And everything just kind of then just seemed to fall into place with me and Tottenham, and I spent, you know, many years down there, and I loved it. The club will always have a special place in my heart. It's something that gave me the chance to play Premier League football. They bought me, obviously, when, you know, no one really knew about me, and, you know, I'll forever be in debt, you know, to that club, because it does. I've even got a tattoo of a cockerel on my leg. Yeah, just because it means a lot to me, you know, that place. We need to go on and hopefully achieve something special in these next couple of weeks. I think what this group of players have achieved over the last number of years, it's one thing that we're missing, is the Champions League.
FIFA 23.
When was the first time that you heard of City's interest? Is it an agent phone call again?
Well, there was rumours, but you always don't believe in rumours. So, you know, they've been linked to probably every club in the world.
Yeah.
But when, you know, my agent again called me and said that, you know, Man City have been in contact and they hopefully want to do a deal in the summer, you know, I was excited. Speaking with Pep on the phone and Cheeky, it just felt right when, again, someone shows the interest in you, and a manager of that calibre as well, to ring you up and personally have a conversation with you. I had to try and make it happen. Obviously, with Tottenham, there's stories that I forced to move and stuff like that. I didn't. I went up to Pochettino at the time and asked if I could leave, and he said, yeah, I wouldn't be in his plans next season because Kieran Tripps was doing well. So it just fell right and made sense. The only thing that, and I'll be honest now and truthful, that I didn't really, left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, was that I didn't start the last game at White Hart Lane. That's the only thing that, you know, me and the manager probably didn't see eye to eye, but apart from that, I still texted him when I came here to say thank you for everything that he did for me. I think he brought my game on massively. I think that team that I left behind, I know we beat City, or finished higher than them, sorry, in the league 2 seasons, and that team that I left at Tottenham was incredible. You know, Danny Rose was on the flanks. You had Dele, that was a young Dele Alli. You know, Harry Kane, Christian Eriksen, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Moussa Dembele, who was probably the best player I've ever seen play football.
Funny how many people say that, yeah.
I left a good Tottenham team, but I knew the project that this club was going to do, and these opportunities don't come around too often. I had to take it with both hands. You're
not finished here by any stretch, but you're sat here now with 10 major pieces of silverware to your name at City. When you made that move back in, 2017, did you think that this could be possible, as much as this?
No, of course not. What we've done here, I don't think will be copied for a long time unless we keep going. Or, you know, I think the standard at the Premier League has got a lot harder now. But I think just what we've done to, you know, like we were saying before, 100 points, formidables after that. I think Liverpool deservedly won the Premier League when they won it. But then to win it 3 times now in a row, and I think it's the first team since Man United, God knows how many years ago.
Yeah.
It's a testament to this group of players and the managing staff, what we're achieving here.
What's your relationship like with Pep Guardiola?
It's fantastic. I think to be here for this many years. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs, which everyone does. But the relationship and, I'd say, the friendship that we've got, it's unique, it's special.
What is it about him that's really pushed you to the levels that you've reached, do you think?
He's addicted to winning, and he's made me addicted to my job. That I study the game now. You know, I make sure that I watch video clips of players. I wouldn't have done that before. I'd have just, you know, gone out onto the game and, you know, maybe seen a few clips.
You'd have backed yourself, basically.
I'd have backed myself, but now he makes me be obsessed with my job and my profession.
And that's quite a change, that, isn't it? I mean, I've spoken to quite a few City players in recent years, and they describe someone who's basically changed the way that they play football, watch football, consume football, in terms of the detail as well, that there's so much detail with Pep that it's never ending almost, the way that he approaches things.
But I think that's why he's got the results that he has done, not with just this Manchester City team, but Bayern Munich and Barcelona. He's a serial winner. And I think he's rubbed that on us as a group of players, especially the captains. Obviously, we need to be at the forefront of that and leading this group of lads on. But it's from him, you know. He rubs on us, and then we try and take it to the generations that are going to come through at this, you know, at this great club.
What about this season then? I mean, what sort of a ride has it been for you personally this year? Because, I mean, a lot of the high-profile players at City this year seem to have had a time where they've not been in the team. It just seems to have been the way it's gone this year, almost.
I think you look at the start from when I came here, you know, we've lost the likes of Company, Yaya, Aguero, David Silva. These are massive players that have got statues outside the stadium, you know. So these are great players, but
have they won 5?
No, they haven't. No, they haven't. But I believe that they're the reason why we're here. I put everything down to, I think Vinny was top class when I first came, and they set the standards. They knew what it was like. We didn't know what it was like to win a Premier League. They knew what it was like to win a Premier League. They knew what it meant to, you know, this club and to the fans. Yeah. And they've made sure that we've carried that on, and hopefully, you know, the likes of Rico, Calvin, Jack, Erling, hopefully me, Gundo, Kevin, the older ones now have rubbed that off on them so they can keep passing it on to generations. You, though, as well, when you've been here over the years and the title wins that you've had, the majority of the time you've been almost an automatic pick for City. At times this season, it hasn't always felt like that from the outside. I don't know what it's been like from your perspective. No, it's been an emotional roller coaster. Yeah. There's not one player in that team or in that dressing room that doesn't want to play. Everyone wants to play. The manager has a hard decision to pick 11 players, and I have to respect his decision when I'm not playing or when I am playing, and just prove when I do get the nod that, you know, I should be playing week in, week out. But he has his tactics, he has what he feels is best for Manchester City, and we have to stand by that and believe in that. Listen, this man he signed me first and foremost, but as a human, he's been there for me. You know, I've had a lot of ups and downs, you know, but in my personal life, and he's stuck by me. So the respect I have for him is second to none. And it has brought the best out of you, or that's how it's felt in this Premier League title running, also in the other competitions as well. I mean, the Champions League duel over 2 legs with Vinicius Jr. has been so talked about. I mean, for a good week or two, it was all over everyone's social media feeds, YouTube as well. That type of duel, Cal, that's you, isn't it? That's you at your best. That's what makes you you. That's what I love. You know, it's a fine line though, because everyone builds it up, and all of a sudden, if you don't go and play well, it could be, you know, Kyle's done, Kyle's finished. But you have to believe in yourself. I think these wingers nowadays have a little bit of arrogancy about them, and I think as a defender or as a fullback, you have to have also that arrogance, you know, that you are better than them and they're not going to pass you, and it becomes a personal thing. Because I think it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. You know, he does well against me, I'm probably not in the team for the next couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden everyone's saying, you know, Kyle can't play for Manchester City, he's finished. You're out of the Champions League, most importantly, as well, And I do well against him. It's, oh my gosh, you know, is he the best Premier League right back of all time? Well, it's one game. You're only as good as your last game. I love that answer as well that you gave when you were asked about what you were talking about at the end of the first leg. There was that brilliant picture of the two of you laughing and hugging. The answer about he tried to rainbow flick me, like I told him not to. Yeah, over my dead body was that ball going over my head, and he was getting it. There was no chance. Because again, it comes down, you know, I've got an ego, I've got an arrogance saying, you know, he's a very good player. I don't take that away from him, but again, it's dog eat dog. He flicks that over my head. I'm a meme, and you know, my kids have to watch that, and it's not happening. Obviously, that was a key result for Manchester City in getting you through to the Champions League final, that 4-0 win.
at the Etihad Stadium. The draw, of course, was important in the Bernabeu as well. You've now got the opportunity over the next couple of weeks to win a treble. How does that make you feel sat here now?
It's exciting. Obviously, the great Manchester United team went on and achieved that. For us to be compared to that team, we need to go on and hopefully achieve something special in these next couple of weeks. How
ready are you to make history, do you feel, as a group?
I think we have to. I think we probably deserve it. It's not a given. Inter Milan, Manchester United are not going to roll out a carpet to us and say, go on, you know, go and make history. I think what this group of players have achieved over the last number of years, it's one thing that we're missing, is the Champions League. But before that, we can, you know, go and win, which is a great cup in the FA Cup against our bitter rivals, and tears up, hopefully, you know, for that treble.
Good luck, Kyle.
Thank you ever so much.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers.